Any sign of them yet?
Negative. Green light.
Good. Keep watching. See, there's our route. Lake George is about 5 miles off the highway. I've even reserved the same cottage we honeymooned in.
Kirkroom. I think it's the most romantic thing I've ever heard, Aunt Natalie. Sneaky-wise, it's great.
Sneaky-wise or not, we're turning your father's birthday into a vacation. If he won't take one himself, we're going to take it for him.
Pop's a managing editor. Why doesn't he manage to get himself a vacation?
Because something always comes up. But this time, we're not giving him a chance to say no. We're going to keep this a complete surprise. I'm packing the suitcases and shipping them on ahead. I've arranged for the cabin, the boat.
We forgot the fishing license.
You're right. Can you pick one up tomorrow after school?
Sure. I'll spring for it with my own loot. It'll be my contribution to the birthday bit.
You know, he still talks about the speckled trout he caught on our honeymoon. Come to think of it, that's all he talks about.
Red light!
Hi, family.
Hello, Uncle Martin.
Hi, Kat. See, I'm sorry I'm late. I got held up. It was a South American Revolution I got involved in.
Oh, you look tired, darling.
Well, I am tired.
Why don't you take a vacation? Ow! Nothing.
Let's eat.
Yeah, we're having speckled trout for dinner. Ow!
What's the matter with you?
Nothing. What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you? Come.
Picture of the girl and get a statement from her family. Now hit the human interest angle, whether they suspected what she was going to do, whether they knew the boy, and so on. Now, let's milk it. I'm going to do an editorial on it. You send your copy in as fast as you can. Right.
The world caved in yet?
It's caving, JR. Did you see this? 14-year-old girl in New Jersey eloped with a folk singer.
Oh, that's terrible. Folk singer.
Do you realize the increase there's been in teenage marriages in the last 5 years? They're up over 30%.
Well, that's not too bad, considering there's been over 100% increase in folk singers.
Kids today think of marriage as a kind of a game. They take on responsibilities they're not equipped to handle emotionally, mentally, or economically.
Sounds like an editorial.
That's exactly what it is. And I'm not going to blame the kids. I'm blaming their parents.
Well, I'll see if the mayor has any comment on it. I'm having lunch today at City Hall. See you later, Martin.
Right.
Folk singer. Flies in the buttermilk. Shoo, shoo, shoo.
There you are. One fishing license.
Thank you.
That'll be $3.
Do you really think you can keep it a secret from your dad?
Sure. It's a slide.
You can see we do a booming business here, Mr. Castle. Why, this is our third biggest week for marriages. It's incredible how young some of them really are. Martin was right. They're just babies. Oh, there's Patty Lane.
Who?
My managing editor's daughter. Excuse me, I must say hello. Patty?
But you know the father figure. If he got wind of this, he'd kill it. He doesn't believe in it.
Do you want me to keep the license for you?
No, I have a place to hide it.
Hey, how about the honeymoon cabin?
It's all set. We'll zip up Saturday, we'll use Hodad's heap, and we'll tell him we're just going for a little spin.
Oh, JR. Just finishing my editorial on teenage marriages.
I'd say it wasn't a moment too soon, Martin.
Now listen to this. It's time that we place the blame squarely where it belongs. Not on the frail, inexperienced shoulders of the newlyweds, but on the broad backs of the mothers and fathers who allow these situations to develop under their very noses in ignorance. And there's more.
That's what I've come to tell you.
Oh, you talked to the mayor. Did you get some information for me?
Some. Your daughter's getting married Saturday.
For a minute, it sounded as though you said my daughter was getting married on Saturday.
I did. I saw her at the Marriage License Bureau.
And you thought... Well, Patty was at the Marriage License Bureau. She was probably there with a friend.
She certainly was, and I heard him advise her to hide the marriage license at the honeymoon lodge until they got there on Saturday. And if you're her dad, they're using your heap to get there.
That's true. I'll put a stop to it, of course, but...
Oh, in my opinion, that would be a most unfortunate approach.
You have a better suggestion?
Well, I've had some experience in these matters. You're dealing here, Martin, with adolescent emotions at a white-hot pitch. You have no idea how delicate the situation is. I would advise you to handle it very carefully.
You would?
I certainly would. The usual procedure in these unfortunate occurrences is for the blundering parents to rush in and forbid the marriage. The pages of history are strewn with the bodies of star-crossed lovers.
Patty, a star-crossed lover? She's hardly learned to roller skate.
Well, perhaps they don't intend to do a lot of roller skating.
Come on in, J.R. I'm sure there's some logical explanation for all this. I mean, Kathy'll know the answer. There are no secrets between Patty and her. If Patty were going to elope, Kathy would know about it. I'll ask her. Kathy?
What makes you think she's going to tell you the truth?
She doesn't have to. I'll know. See, Kathy's got a built-in lie detector. Whenever she says something that's not true, she hiccups. Kath?
Hello, Uncle Martin. You're home early.
Yeah, I had something to attend to. You know Mr. Castle.
Yes, hello. It's nice to see you again, Mr. Castle.
Kathy, you're looking very well.
Thank you.
Where's your Aunt Natalie?
She went shopping.
And Patty?
Patty? She's at a Red Cross class. Excuse me.
Kathy, is she alone?
Who?
The girl we're talking about, your cousin Patty.
Oh. Yes?
Did Patty say anything to you about any special plans for Saturday?
Saturday?
Yeah.
No.
I'll kill him. When I get my hands on him, whoever he is, I'll kill him. Do you think you could identify him if you saw him again?
Well, it would be a difficult face to forget. He was a peculiar-looking boy, moved around like a perturbed pelican. He was tall and thin and looked a lot like, him.
Him? Well, it couldn't be him. I mean, that's Richard. Nobody would marry Richard.
Why not?
Well, it's just out of the question, that's all. He mowed my lawn last summer. You think my daughter would marry a gardener?
Well, what does he do when he's not gardening?
He eats. He lives in my refrigerator. I've been practically supporting that boy for 2 years, but I'll be hanged if I'm going to make it legal.
Martin, getting excited about it isn't going to help anything.
Well, wouldn't you get excited if he was going to be your son-in-law? Do you know what his income is per week? $10. I wouldn't buy Patty's bubble gum. Now, wait a minute. We're getting carried away, J.R. There's some perfectly innocent explanation for this whole thing. Patty thinks of me as a quaint old man from the Stone Age, but she genuinely loves me. She wouldn't do Richard to me.
There must be an easy way of establishing the truth.
You mean go out and confront them?
What sort of a newspaper man are you? I mean, we spy on them.
Spy on my own daughter?
It's better than babysitting.
Let's go.
I'd love to see the Speaker of the House when he makes the scene.
He'll have to scrape him off the moon.
What do they say?
then I'm due for a big shock.
You know, we should be halfway there by the time Pop knows he's been had.
Any questions?
If he weren't so stubborn, we wouldn't have to do the sneaky Pete bit.
This will kill poor Natalie.
Patty, did you get the license?
Check.
Yeah, you should have seen the line. Looked like everybody in town was doing it.
I paid for it with my own money. Isn't that right, Richard?
Let's hide it before your father runs across it.
I've already got it stashed.
My own wife. She's in on it. I don't like Patty paying for the license. It doesn't augur well for the marriage.
I've arranged with Mr. Landers to mail the key to the cottage and to the boat. Now, tomorrow, you get the suitcases out of the garage without your father seeing you, and I'll start packing.
Snap time.
I'll help her.
You know, I can't wait for Saturday. I wish you were here already.
I'm sorry I had to open up this Pandora's box, Martin, but it's better to know the truth.
You know what hurts most, J.R.? That they could do this to me behind my back. My own wife and my daughter and my niece treating me like I was an outsider. Well, I'm going to have it out with Natalie.
In my opinion, you'd be making a terrible mistake.
Why?
Well, I imagine the reason they didn't come to you in the first place is because they're afraid of you.
Afraid of me? What is nonsense? All Patty had to do was come to me and tell me that she wanted to marry Richard. I'm a reasonable man.
What would you have done?
I'd have killed her.
See what I mean? You could still stop her, Martin. She's a minor. She's got to get your permission.
She's got her mother's permission. I guess they expected me to read about it in the marriage notices. Patty is just a baby, J.R. She's not ready to get married yet. Nobody's ready to get married to Richard.
Well, maybe this boy's got some quality you've overlooked. Perhaps you're being unfair to him.
Unfair? To Richard?
Try to get to know him, Martin. And then you can bore from within.
I got a better idea. I'm going to scare him out of the marriage.
Like, hey there. I got it split. Bye.
Don't go, Richard. I'd like you to meet Mr. Castle, the publisher of the Chronicle. This is Richard Harrison.
Like, hi.
Quite.
Come on into the living room, Richard, and sit down.
You're inviting me into your living room?
Yes, I thought we could have a little chat. Come on.
Okay. How do you do, sir?
How do you do?
Make yourself comfortable. You know, we've never really had a chance to get to know one another, Richard. I suppose that's my fault.
Yeah.
The point is that I think it's high time we did get to know one another. You know, man to man.
This isn't going to be the birds and the bees bit, is it, Mr. Lane?
The birds and the bees bit?
Because my father image and I already ran that.
I don't know much about your family, son. You don't mind if I call you son, do you?
Not if it gives you pleasure.
What does your father do?
He's a brick and mortar type. He does the expressway bit and all that kind of movement.
What did he say his father does?
He's a highway construction engineer.
Oh.
Is your father a wealthy man?
Pop swings pretty good with a lute.
Maybe your father's planning to take you into his business.
That's for me. I'd love being a cement jockey.
Then it's all settled.
Yeah. He won't have me.
What's your present income?
$500.
$500 a what?
A year.
So what it boils down to is that in the course of the next year, your income will be $10 a week.
Oh, no, sir. In the summer, I earn my own money. I cut grass.
I know. Were you under the impression that you and Patty could live on that amount of money?
No, sir. Were you?
Not for one instant. Nor was I under the impression that I was going to support you.
Well, gee, why should you?
Exactly. Why should I? Can you support Patty?
I thought you were supporting her.
Well, you thought wrong. You'll have to support her.
I will?
You know, getting married is a major responsibility at your age.
It sure is.
Well, I want you to think very seriously about it.
You mean about me and Patty?
That's exactly what I mean.
Oh, sure, if that's what you want.
Well, I'm glad we had this little chat.
So am I. Thanks a lot, Mr. Lane. I sure had you figured all wrong. Goodbye, Mr. Palace.
Castle.
Funny, I had this system for memorizing names and... Bye.
Well?
I'd kill him.
You know, you haven't said 2 words all evening. Still worried about South America?
North America.
Well, I'm glad you were able to get home early this afternoon.
So am I.
I wish your work didn't put you under such a terrible strain, darling.
I imagine everybody around here's been under a terrible strain.
We've been worrying about you.
Oh, I'm sure you have.
Well, perhaps one of these days you can get away and take a little vacation. Wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah. Then we could relax and exchange confidences. Tell one another all our secrets.
Secrets?
Well, if there were any to tell, I mean. Of course, I'm old-fashioned, Natalie. I've always felt that the fabric that held the family together was honesty. That husbands and wives shouldn't keep secrets from one another.
Oh, I agree, but sometimes the only way to manage things is to do a little secret plotting. Well, I'm going up to bed, dear. Coming?
Now I'm going to sit here and drink my milk.
Good night, dear.
Yeah. Over my dead body.
Come on in, JR.
I got here as fast as I could.
Come on out in the kitchen. I'll give you a cup of coffee. I didn't sleep a wink all night.
What happened?
Natalie came right out and admitted the whole thing.
No.
I couldn't believe it. She said that sometimes the only way to get things done is to do a little secret plotting. It's frightening that you can live with one of them for nearly 20 years and not really know them.
You must prevent this marriage at all costs.
You were the one who was telling me that there might be something to that boy.
That's right, there is, and I've seen it. You must prevent this marriage at all costs.
What about all the bodies of lovers that are strewn through the pages of history?
That might not be a bad solution. There isn't a jury in the world would convict you.
I can't tell you how much I appreciate your coming over here and giving me your moral support, JR.
Anything I can do, old boy?
That's probably the minister.
How do you do? I'm Ted Landis.
Yes?
I brought the keys to the cabin.
The honeymoon cabin?
Yes. I was going to mail them, but Mrs. Lane told me how top secret it was, so I decided to bring them myself.
You've made a brilliant secret agent.
Thank you. I told Mrs. Lane how lucky she was. It was the last cabin on the lake. Oh, and here's the key to the boat. I think you'll find everything satisfactory up there. Did they get the license?
Oh, yes, they got the license, all right.
Good. Good. We wouldn't want any trouble on that. They're very strict up there. Oh, it's a beautiful place. Quiet and secluded.
Are you fond of secluded, quiet places, Mr. Landers?
Me? Oh, my, yes.
Well, that's fortunate. You may be spending the next 7 years in one.
The kids you rented that cabin to are underage.
Kids? Underage? Why, Mrs. Lane didn't say anything about...
I'm telling you.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. The honeymoon cabin is no longer available.
Don't forget the key to the boat.
Good morning.
That takes care of their honeymoon plans.
Well done, Martin.
And while I'm at it, I've got another little spike to put in Cupid's quiver. I'm going to make sure that Hodad's heap is unavailable. Honeymoon cabin at the lake, nice secluded spot. I know Patty is a rebellious child, but Richard is ridiculous. I beg your pardon? Oh, is this a Sunset Garage? Now, this is Mr. Lane. Say, Eddie wanted to do some work on my transmission. I told him I was going to need the car. Well, I've changed my mind, so tell him he can pick it up anytime he wants. No, he can have it over the whole weekend. We're not going anywhere. Thank you. They can't go anywhere without a heap. Car.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant, Martin.
These are the heaviest empty suitcases I've ever seen. Why don't we just take them in through the front door?
Because the parent hasn't gone to work yet. Mama doesn't want him to see him.
Now for the last step.
What's that?
I'm going to disable the groom.
You think a 3-day vacation will be long enough for your father?
What do you mean?
Have you talked to him lately? He's driving himself into Flipsville.
What'd he say?
Just what do you think you're doing?
Fixing the window.
Borrowing water.
Kathy said you wanted to see me. Oh, hello, J.R.
Natalie?
Is anything wrong?
I just wanted you to know that your little scheme was finished. Over, kaput.
What little scheme?
Oh, it's too late to play innocent, Natalie. I'm talking about Saturday, remember? The license, the honeymoon cabin at the lake, Hodad's heap.
You found out.
You bet I did.
Who's the stool pigeon?
I didn't sing. Kathy!
No, I'm afraid I'm the stool pigeon, Natalie.
You found out and told Martin?
I had no alternative.
And they say women can't keep a secret. Oh, well, we tried. I'm sorry the surprise is gone, but it really doesn't matter. We can still go ahead with our plans.
Well, that's where you're wrong. I canceled the honeymoon cabin and the boat and sent the heap in for repairs.
Martin, that was the last cabin.
I know.
And he handled it beautifully.
How could you? I thought you'd love it.
Did you really? Well, you thought wrong. When my only daughter gets married, I'm not going to have her sneaking off with someone behind my back.
Would you mind repeating that?
Patty is not getting married this Saturday or any other Saturday. At least not for a few years. So your little scheme didn't work.
Oh, you found out that Patty was getting married.
I sure did.
Oh, well, we tried.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't.
It's always a fatal mistake to underestimate one's adversary.
Oh, I can see that now, Martin. I should have let you in on Patty's marriage from the beginning.
Would have been nice.
I thought I covered all my tracks. How did you get onto it?
I saw them buying the license.
Oh, that explains it. Imagine. Little slip like that.
And now one last thing. Let's destroy that license.
Mom, how are you going to let him
He's
dress
done
up?
everything else. Give him the license.
I'm sorry, Richard.
Well done, Martin.
Pop, I wish you
You
would...
sit down, young lady. You and I'll have a long private talk later. Now, I'm going to be charitable. I don't mind admitting that this has hurt me very, very deeply. But I'm sure that all of you are feeling pretty ashamed of yourselves right now, so I'm not going to rub it in. This will end the incident, and I hope it's a lesson you'll never forget. This is a fishing license. It's made out to me.
I paid for it with my own money. Right, Richard?
What for?
For you to catch your speckled trout with, the way you did on our honeymoon.
You mean that this is the license that Patty and Richard...
We wanted you to have a vacation at Lake George for your birthday. The cottage is the same one you and I had for our honeymoon.
Well, I think I'll be pushing along now. By the way, Martin, why don't you take the weekend off? Do you good. Happy birthday.
Gee, it was nice of Mr. Landers to send these trout down to us. He felt terrible when I explained what happened.
I wish somebody had explained it to me.
Oh, well, these misunderstandings do occur, you know.
Well, at least you have your fish. And barbecues are fun. Boy, they're beauts, Dad.
I think those trout are about done, Martin.
You think so?
Oh, yes. I'll give you a hand. Speed things up a little.
I have to finish my homework for art class tomorrow. I'm doing a wedding scene.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Everything is done but the wedding gown. I have to have the wedding gown done by tomorrow, or it'll be too late.
I can't wait to see it.
Martin!
Here's Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. But Patty's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair!